That's how the policy works?
Let me rehash this piece as we've done before. We, at the direction of this board, we met a number of times in committee to put together what we call a heat-related procedure. It's not a policy, it's a procedure. It means we try to develop this. We have gone through that. We set a set point of humidity and temperature. If that arises, it's our hope that it doesn't arise. I can tell you neither staff at either one of those schools wants to implement this program because they do not want that. Parents don't want their kids out. Now, we found that as we developed this procedure pretty readily, parents don't want their kids out of school. We put it in place because if excessive heat were to rise, and I'm talking extreme excessive heat, we may be forced to do something. That's the intent. But what we've not discussed tonight is we have done quite a bit over the summer to do some changes. We have installed some exhaust fans at both of those schools. We have plans to bring in third shift custodians to man those at night, to open the buildings, to circulate air through there. We have got a number of things in place to do this. We have ordered cases upon cases of water to provide those for ice down purposes if and when that comes. We have done everything that we can possibly do to provide for the comfort of those students in that school, short of going out and doing a bond issue and putting air conditioning. That's the best that we can do at this point in time. We're simply trying to do the best with what we have. And right now it's very tight. You've heard comments tonight, concerns about budget, okay? We're concerned about that too. And we understand projects like this are millions of dollars, and that does involve the community. That's why we have hired an architect to come in and begin this process so that we can educate the community. I'm a firm believer in quality facilities. I've made no doubt about that since I came into this district. I think the quality of your buildings is a direct relationship to the real estate in this city. And I think that's something that the board certainly has to be in tune with. But at the same time, to do those upgrades costs lots and lots of money. People in this city pay a humongous amount of taxes to support schools. There's very little state aid that comes in here, so a lot of that is on the backbone of the people that live here. So there's just multiple concerns, all the way around as we picture this and trying to figure out how we can do this. So, it is a big piece, other than just saying, well, let's just go in air conditioning, because we have strapped the community, and this is not just parents. There's a lot of people living down that don't have kids, a lot of people, and we don't know exactly where they're at. We're hoping that through this process of facility planning that we can bring people on board, people that don't have kids in school, to help them to understand the importance of maintaining quality facilities. We have beautiful facilities in this town. I mean, we have, they're aged facilities, but how they blend in with the community is phenomenal. I mean, they set the stage for the community, and we certainly don't want to lose track of that. But at the same time, we've reached that pinnacle where we're really going to have to start, or the board's going to have to really start looking at how do we move to that next level. How do we make a 60-year-old building last another 60 years? What are those things? Maybe some of that is boiler and air conditioning. Some of it may be structural. That's why I think it behooves the board to be extremely careful, as they move through that process. One thing I've noticed over the years is that we have done Band-Aid approaches here, and I'll be the first to admit it. If you take a look around this room down here, you'll notice, and nobody said anything, but this room looks very vastly different than it did the last time we had a board meeting, because this building flooded. And because of that, we had to go back through and change things. As we were going through and checking qualities of wall, we found out walls in here that had been flooded and had mold in them from years before. And they were covered up. Those are the things that have gone around here. And as superintendent, if I can possibly keep that from happening again, I will. So I'm telling you, I'm not into the Band-Aid approach piece, because that's what happens. We try to keep patching and patching and patching, but at some point in time, it catches up with us. And that's where we're at. And I don't want to put this district in that bind to where they have to play catch-up. We're already there. And we really have to start looking at a full-fledged approach how we deal with facilities. The Band-Aid thing, it would cure some instances, with parents, but it's not the right way to do things. I think when you consider upgrades to your homes, you don't look at the Band-Aid approach. You really try to do the right thing that you can. And that's really all we're trying to do here. We're simply trying to do the very best that we can with the schools that we have.
I understand that, and I appreciate all your efforts. I am just concerned, like I said, about the continuing education for the days that are missed, because that hasn't been addressed, that I've seen.
And so I guess, Dr. Bender, kind of the specific question would be, if we had to invoke a heat day, would we tack on a day at the end of the year?
Absolutely not. Those heat days have been designed because the dismissal would be at the middle of the day. If you've seen in the procedure, that's why that happens to that. I mean, if we were to cancel the whole day, that takes teachers out of it. It becomes a union issue as far as pay. It's a huge, huge mess. Now, I know that that's, you know, from a parent's point of view, that's not the concern. The concern is for their child. Unfortunately, I have to deal with all of that kind of stuff. So we've come up with something that we feel, if we have to invoke, and that's a big if, capital I, capital F, huge, huge letters. If that were to ever happen, I can assure you it would be a very dire situation, very dire.
I know, we've had such a crazy summer, and so many things have happened, so many people have gotten flooded that we never could have predicted would have happened. 4 days of summer school gone.
Right.
You know, power outages, 8 days. I live right down the street from Carpenter. I saw it for myself. It's bad. And I appreciate the big picture. I really, really do. Like I said, I'm concerned that he misses out while others move ahead. And that's really my concern. The 4 days, the 5 days, the 8 days, the snow days. You know, they all add up. It's a short year. So thank you.
Thank you.
No, thank you. And, you know, and I will tell you to add to it, I don't think anybody's really happy with the heat day procedure that we've got. You know, it's the result of having to deal with this issue on a short-term basis while we work on a longer-term solution. It's imperfect. I don't think anybody likes it. I don't think anybody hopes that we ever have to invoke it. You know, it's not a great solution, and ultimately the longer-term solution is we need to do something about the physical problems so we don't have to do this kind of thing. Any other public comments? Coming up. In your case, I'll say welcome back.
Members of the board, good evening. I'll try to be brief. I just want to echo the sentiment. Most of the folks in the room, I'm a parent of a Carpenter student, 2 Carpenter students. We're glad school started today. I think